Mashallah. Yeah. Let's come on, Fika. Finally, we are here with episode 5, and yes, of course, I have to start with my sincere apologies for recording this late. I won't lie, I've had a really busy week, and trying to find time to record an episode and do all the necessary things that require me to upload an episode took a hit kidogo because of obvious things. To those people who follow me around, they know I've had a really long weekend. I have loved it, every bit of it. But yeah, it has been really it is really disappointing to actually be late, and uploading an episode the week after. And I think it's still part of the journey. I guess it is much better to be late than, however much I hate being late, it is better to be late than to run away from things. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the second part of our Simping series, understanding what Simping actually is. The last episode we talked about Simping and we defined it kidogo, got a bit of explanations from here and there, and trying to get psychological factors that bring in Simping. And in this second part of it, we are definitely going to talk about the impact of Simping that we can see in our society at this day and age, because people are struggling. Why are we desperate for love? Why we fall in love too easily? So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump straight into it, of course, because there's no time to waste. And I really feel guilty for being late to upload this episode. So in the impact of Simping, we are obviously going to discuss about the negative consequences, whereby we're going to examine the potential negative consequences of Simping, including emotional distress, financial loss, and damaged relationships. Then we are going to talk about the cost of self-worth and discuss how Simping can erode a person's self-esteem and sense of value. And then finally, we are going to talk about the role of social media, and we are going to explore a bit of the influence social media platforms have on bringing up this Simping culture and the perpetuation of harmful stereotypes that come with Simping. So of course, first of all, I would love to say tafadhali. I put out my statement and my opinion, and I said, I do not condone Simping at all. Simping is not something that should be welcomed at all. There is no point at which we can say Simping is good to anyone, because as we said, Simping is giving out energy that is not being reciprocated. Yes. So on the negative consequences, and one of, I think the biggest consequences of Simping is heartbreaks. Because munavunja roho huko nje, mnasumbuka sana, mnapigwa left, right and center, ushinda ukijiuliza what is wrong with you. Why does this person not want to reciprocate the energy that you're giving out? Why am I always being the one who's been left? And you also cannot even fathom how you can leave a person who you've already told them that you like them, you love them, and all these issues that come about with Simping. So yes, the first negative consequence is heartbreaks. And I think, of course, we can talk about heartbreaks, and it can last a whole week, month. But I think the most basic thing about heartbreaks is that deep. That deep. Deep chest pain, but you feel when that message comes in, and you're like, unaambiwa hapo, I don't think we can do this anymore. Kwa hapo unashindwa, bwana, kwani what has happened? like what is bringing up this switch up, so it is really bad. Kuna wengine wanaendanga direct, they have substances they indulge in, and you just indulge yourself even more. Watu wa kunywa pombe, watu wa county, hallelujah. And then there's those people like me who love sugary things. So the first thing I always do is go get like 20 or 30 pieces of patco, and then I go buy some Crest ama Sprite. And hapo sasa unakaa chini kwa kiti yako, unafikiria, unashindwa tulikosea wapi jamani. And then there's those people who really, it really takes them into deep depression, and and it all breeds from that question of asking yourself if you're ever enough for anyone. Like, are you a mistake, you as yourself, being a human? But personally, I can say I really don't like, I do not like even any bit of trying to ask myself such questions of my self-worth or my self-esteem and all these things. So anytime I've always gotten that message, this is me opening up. Anytime I get such messages, I'm always like, okay, sawa, na story naishia hapo, and my head switches directly to moving on. Of course, I will go and kneel down and ask God, Bwana, kwani how bad am I at these things, Bwana? Even you can't even succeed in one of them. Yeah, so that is one. Of course, we've mentioned also emotional distress, which we were explaining by the heartbreak. And then there's the financial loss. Well, I was trying to think about it, when it comes to financial loss, and I would have loved to try and connect it with those people who go and indulge in things, and you waste a lot of money trying to cover up whatever you're feeling. So yeah, we can say that that's part of financial loss. Or people who even before the heartbreaks, they are always giving and giving. They are givers. Kuna watu wenye wanapeananga tu, they give out because they know they can, but it's moderate. And then there are people who just cannot think about anything else but giving out. You have something of your own, but somebody tells you they want something or they want it, and you'll just be willingly ready to give it out. And such kind of people, of course, when they get into relationships and they are the Sims, then they give out more than they should actually, because it is you do extra a lot of things that is not even being reciprocated. So of course there is a bit of financial loss, because even after the heartbreak, you always ask yourself, why did I get these things, or why was I thinking of getting these things? Unfortunately, you think at it from the negative point of view from it, instead of like just appreciating yourself for always being caring and considerate to somebody else. And then the last bit of it was damaged relationships. Well, first of all, ukipewa heartbreak, that is a damaged relationship. Hiyo imeisha hivyo. And also, if you're in emotional distress, if you're depressed when all these things happen, even when you're still in that relationship, giving in all the things that you have, there are times you really forego the people who have been around you, because you're catering to this one particular person who's actually not even catering to you. So it damages relationships, even from parents, from your guardians, to your friends, to your bestie, to all these things. And you're always in that bubble of yourself, thinking, well, you only have one person to care about. So yeah, it really damages relationships. Now to the next part of it, the cost of self-worth, discussing how simping can erode a person's self-esteem and sense of value. Now, first of all, if we can just sit down and think about that phrase of self-worth, personally, I don't like using that word as much. I know I've used it like a couple of minutes ago, but I don't like using it when I'm addressing myself, because now, to some sense, you start using that word worth and try to equate it to something, Unfortunately, when you use that word worth, I don't know why I'm thinking of it from a negative point of view, because I'm like, why would I call it self-worth instead of just self-esteem? All these things are tied together. But yeah, when you're simping, it actually erodes your self-esteem, because you get attached to people who are not considerate at all to your feelings, to your life, to your everything that involves you. So to some sense of it, you sit down and you always analyze such situations that you've been in, and you realize, wow, then your self-esteem was so low for you to actually just stick with somebody who's not really reciprocating any kind of energy, which is really sad to talk about, because there's a lot of things that come about for people to have their self-esteem so low, even with how we handle our relationships from when we are kids, with our parents, with our cousins, with family, with friends. All these things shape us up in terms of our self-esteem. There were people who were bullied in primary school, others who were bullied in high school, and such kind of occasions and experiences change you. They have an effect on you, and if you're not able to overcome them, then you will have to take a bit of beatings in terms of your self-esteem. So yeah, simping actually will cost your self-esteem. It will hit you hard, that I won't lie, because that is the first thing. You see that question that you ask yourself, if you're ever enough for somebody, that is your self-esteem being questioned, that is your self-esteem being targeted, and unfortunately there are people who just cannot move on to to places where they're loved, which is quite unfortunate. Yeah. And then now to our last bit of it, the role of social media. We are going to discuss, of course, the influence social media platforms are bringing up on the culture of simping. And before even we dive really deep into it, I think we can all agree that social media has a big influence on how our lifestyles are, especially for us Gen Z, who our childhood was somehow interrupted. We are the first generation that got interrupted with phones and gadgets and all these things. So I can say social media has a big influence across everything that we've lived to see and to understand and all these things. So when it comes to social media and relationships, we can all say that there's some kind of pressure that we always get from these things. You see how people are being shown affection. You see you see all these kind of things, and you always ask yourself, am I not being loved enough just because somebody else is receiving some kind of love? You sit there and you see how people are being treated and you ask yourself, hey jamani, when will I ever get such things? And to some extent of it, we have now normalized letting social media dictate how our relationships should look like, which is quite unfortunate, because personally I believe people should actually learn themselves what they want for themselves and just have a touch of reality to how things are happening, and not really focus on how other people are getting or how they are handling their lives. Because the funny thing about social media is you will never know the whole aspect of things. You will never know. You've heard of stories where people show the good side of social media or on their social media, and they show all these good things, and then later on you come to realize that there was whatever we were seeing was just a small bit of it, and it was just for show, and there was no authenticity in it. And sometimes I see such cases and I'm like, I really never want to ever look at somebody and say I want that kind of life. I really never want to do that or experience such kind of love where I have to compare myself to how somebody else is being treated, because I'd rather focus on how I can build myself and my relationships with people and understand them from their own perspective and see them as them, try and throw away all kind of stereotypes that we know about. When people talk about wasichana wa Murema, or sijui if she has dreads, or sijui if she has tattoos, or sijui she has this and this. I really never want to see people from stereotypes. I'd rather learn you, get to know you personally first before those stereotypes come and even affect anything, and if those stereotypes actually manifest with that particular person, then I'll be like, okay, then that is my experience with the stereotype. I won't go outside and cry and tell people, oh, don't go after this. No, but I will know that is my own personal experience. So when we're talking about simping, there's this particular statement that I've seen being perpetuated all over the internet, and it's actually funny because it looks like now it is some kind of gender war, even when it comes to love. And the particular statement I'm talking about is that one of people saying, oh, it is the woman who should love the man more, or then the ladies will say it is the man who's supposed to love more, or that is the kind of relationship that works. And I always see such statement and I sit down and I ask myself, excuse me, do you guys actually know what love is, or you are just propagating things just for the sake of, or you're propagating things from the experiences that you've had? So, and in this case, personally, I always see such statements as statements from people who think they want control over everything. They want control over how they feel. They want control on how their love life should look like. All these things, people are just looking for control. And I'm like, excuse me, love is never about control. Love has never been about control, and it will never be about control, because I think personally, from my own experience, I take love as something that involves actions, of course, and it is built over time, and over that time then trust is built. All these things, loyalty is built over time, and all these things, you cannot control them. You cannot control these types of experiences. And we can see right now, people are trying to control a lot of things, and it is not working for them. And mainly it's because we have lost touch with the reality of what these things are. We have lost touch with knowing what love is, because love is never those emotional feelings that you have. Those are just things that propagate love, but you cannot define love as feelings. For me, I would always define love as decisions. Me waking up to show you consideration every single day. Me waking up to try to understand you every single day, trying to get to know you. That is how love is built. Of course, you start by liking somebody, but for you to actually say you love somebody, it means over time you have taught yourself on how to be considerate to them, on how to show affection to them, on how you have lived with them, you have given them grace, all these things. And it is only shown, or it comes to light after time. So to those people who keep on saying, oh, CG, the man should love the lady more and the relationship will work, hey, excuse me, mimi munitolee hizo vitu mbali na mimi kabisa, tafadhali sitaki kusikia vitu kama hizo, because it will never make sense. It actually never makes sense. And if you're that kind of person who looks at such statements and you agree to them, or you try and justify them, trust me, you're still digging that pit, and it will go deeper and it will never work out for you. This is me telling you, because life outside, hey, huku nje, people are suffering. People are suffering because, hey, jamani. So however much we might see simping as now a normal part of our society and the human experience, I think we should start trying as much as possible to eradicate such things. It might be hard, but it starts with you. It starts with you as a person, as an individual, deciding, no, I am not going to do this. I am not going to follow the wind as people are going, or the currents. I am going to go a different way, so that you create your own community of people who understand what they're actually doing or how they want to engage with people. It's really sad to see people losing touch with how some things should be treated as, and even as we are creating content and doing all these things, I think everybody has their own reasons as to why they want to create content. Some people create it just to show off. Some people create it to just see it there and have it there. Some people create it because some other person created it, so they wanted to recreate it. All these things. And it is pretty hard to be authentic in this generation. In these times, it is hard to be authentic. But still, we move forward. There's no other way we can live this life without being authentic. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been part 2 of the impact of simping in our society, and we are going to head straight to our third part, and obviously it will be uploaded on Saturday. Mimi, I am not getting late again. Hey, bwana. Hey, season 2 na tuko episode 5 bwana. Why am I late? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. This has been the Cordial Podcast with me, of course, your host, Kang'ong'oi, and I'm proud to have you as a listener, to have you click on that button and listen to the Cordial Podcast. So, thank you very much. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the reviews. Tafadhali msinimalize hata tukiongelelea mambo ya simping. Tafadhali. It has been a pleasure, guys. See you next time on our next episode when we conclude on this matter of simping and head over to another new topic. I am sure hiyo kwanza, yay, the next one, bwana, people will cry. But it has been a pleasure, guys. See you when you see me, and if you do not see me, tafadhali nipigie simu. Naogopa nini?